We're just a few weeks away from the Oscars. This is the home stretch, guys. When award season got going, there was a clear favorite for Best Actress, Cate Blanchett. And for good reason. Her performance in the movie Tar was a titanic achievement in acting. She was neurotic, she was intense, and she learned an entirely new skill: orchestra conducting. Real-life conductors themselves were impressed by her performance. That's how good she was. If there was ever a safe bet on who would win the Oscar, this was it. Well, that is, until Michelle Yeoh pulled a huge upset and stole the SAG Award right from under her nose. At least Cate Blanchett handled it well. These moments are why I love award season. It's unpredictable, it's full of surprises. I'd actually tuned in to watch the SAG Awards and I jumped off the couch when they announced her name. I was so excited. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you know how much I'm rooting for Michelle Yeoh to win the Oscar. But up until this point, I wasn't getting my hopes up. So before the Oscars, I wanted to put together a quick video to discuss what does winning the SAG Award mean and how does this affect Michelle Yeoh's Oscar chances. Let's dig in.
And the Oscar goes to...
And the Oscar goes to...
And the Oscar goes to...
Our story begins in March of last year, before the last Oscars even took place. A small studio, A24, you may have heard of it, released an utterly bizarre film with an equally bizarre title. Everything, Everywhere, Every Place, Everyone, Just kidding. It's Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. When I watched this movie, I was blown away by Michelle Yeoh's performance. There really isn't anything else quite like it. At the same time, I didn't think this was the kind of performance that would get recognized during award season. Certainly not by the Oscars. I thought, oh, once again, she's gonna be passed over like she was in Crazy Rich Asians. In fact, a lot of the major publications I read kind of agreed with me. Tar came out 7 months later, in October, and it got everybody talking. People were talking about Cate Blanchett's phenomenal performance, and the film attracted some real controversy. I'm not gonna go into it here because I don't wanna get canceled, but if you like a good flame war, I'm sure I could find some good Reddit posts for you to check out. Regardless, Cate Blanchett immediately became the favorite to win the Oscar. In the movie, she plays a famous conductor, Lydia Tarr, who's about to do a live recording of Mahler's Fifth Symphony. Now, Tar's something of a musical genius, but like so many of the other geniuses, she's a bit of a sociopath as well. In the movie, we see her get increasingly desperate and unhinged as she deals with a scandal that threatens to upend everything she's worked for. Okay, if this sounds like an amazing role, it's 'cause it is. This is the kind of role that Cate Blanchett is made for. So I was unsurprised when award season rolled around and everybody started predicting that she would win the Oscar. Then something happened that really surprised me. All of these groups that hand out their own little movie awards, all of these little critics groups in cities throughout the US started giving their Best Actress awards to Michelle Yeoh instead of Cate Blanchett. This got my attention because I feel like these groups really try to pick the actors who they think are gonna end up winning the Oscar. I think they imagine it makes them more respectable if they agree with the Oscar voters. What really got me excited though was when she got nominated for a Golden Globe. The Globes are the first major award of the season. When she eventually won, I was ecstatic. There's a catch though. Her award was in the comedy or musical category, which is a totally different category from the more prestigious drama category, which Cate Blanchett was in. This meant that the two of them weren't even competing in the same category for the Golden Globes at all. By the way, of course, Cate Blanchett won her Golden Globe. But I think Michelle Yeoh stole the spotlight. She gave one of the most moving speeches of the evening, and most likely won over the hearts of more than a few Oscar voters as well. She reminded us all what she's had to overcome in order to get up on that stage. She is, after all, the first Asian actress to win the award. And this award's been around for almost 80 years. A quick refresher. Award season primarily consists of 5 major televised awards, all handed out by different organizations. Yeah, it can get kind of confusing. The Golden Globes are up first and are awarded by the members of the Hollywood Foreign Press. Then we have the Critics' Choice Awards, quickly followed by the BAFTAs, the British Academy Awards. The SAG Awards come a few weeks later, leading up to the grand finale of award season, which is, of course, the Academy Awards, or what you might know as the Oscars. So coming off the Golden Globes, I was psyched for Michelle Yeoh. Now, she'd already received nominations for 4 of the major awards, but there was one more to go. The Oscar nominations, which don't come out until 2 weeks after the Globes. To me, this is the race that she could play to win. Getting nominations for all these award shows would be a huge accomplishment by itself, especially since she was starring in such an outrageous film. If you've seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, you know what I'm talking about. So if you're watching this video, you already know what happens next. The nominations came out. Michelle Yeoh got her nomination.
Now the 5 nominees for performance by an actress in a leading role. And Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
As did Cate Blanchett, of course. As it turns out, the two of them are the only lead actresses who were nominated for all 5 of the major awards. And as everybody predicted, Cate Blanchett went on to win both the Critics' Choice Award as well as the BAFTA. 3 down, 2 to go. Things were looking really good for her. So by the time the SAG Awards rolled around last week, truthfully, I wasn't really expecting much from Michelle Yeoh. I was just excited to see her come this far. She had front row seats at the SAG Awards. She was having a few drinks with the cast, probably a few too many, and they all looked like they were just having a great time. And most likely, they'd at least walk away with the award for Best Ensemble Cast. That seemed like the one sure bet of the whole evening. So you can imagine my surprise when actor Jeff Bridges opened the envelope for Best Actress and called Michelle Yeoh's name. I think she was just as surprised as everybody else, because at first, she couldn't even move. Then she apparently needed 2 people to carry her on stage. I guess the drinks finally kicked in. I guess that's what happens when your category's announced at the end of the evening. But by the next day, I think it really settled in for everybody, especially her, that now she could possibly go on to actually win Best Actress. All right, so what changed? Why is winning the SAG Awards such a big deal for her Oscar chances? It all has to do with who votes for these awards in the first place. Winning the award from the press or the critics is one thing, but winning the SAG is a different story. The SAG Awards are voted on by fellow actors, many of whom are also Oscar voters. Now, of course, Oscar voters include more than just actors. We have producers, directors, costume and makeup people, etc., etc. But nevertheless, with the SAG Awards, more than any other award, it's kind of like we're getting a small sample of the kind of people who are going to go on to vote for the Oscars. Indeed, many SAG Award winners end up going on to win the Oscar in their respective categories. But that's not to say that this is a done deal. The SAG Awards is only an indicator, not a predictor of who's going to win the Oscar. For one, even though there's an overlap, only a small percentage of SAG voters actually vote in the Oscars. And the other thing, SAG voters are significantly more diverse than the members of the Academy. So when it comes to who the Screen Actors Guild will choose, in the past, they've actually gone for more diverse choices. This happened with both Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman, who both picked up SAG Awards, but the Oscar voters ended up going with somebody else. And let's not forget what a tour de force Cate Blanchett's performance in Tar was. Like I said, it's exactly the kind of performance that goes on to win Oscars. And she's won 3 of the major awards this season. That's a strong indicator that she has a huge amount of support in the industry overall. On the other hand, I do feel like the momentum is with Michelle Yeoh right now. There is a wave of change just spreading throughout Hollywood at the moment, and everybody wants to be a part of it. We've seen it with these smaller award shows giving awards to much more diverse members. It's how Everything Everywhere All at Once has won almost every single Best Picture category this year. I'm pretty sure this would have not happened 5 years ago. The Academy will want to be a part of this change. But my question is this. Right now, Everything Everywhere All at Once seems to be a lock for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor. Is this enough for the Academy to feel like they're a part of this wave of change? Or will they go for the home run and give Michelle Yeoh the Best Actress award, and in the process, make her the first Asian to win the category? If you go online and look up what people are predicting, Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh are literally neck and neck. But that Michelle Yeoh has pulled up from behind to match where Cate Blanchett is right now is, to me, a huge factor in her favor. And if Everything Everywhere All at Once continues on this path of generating excitement, if it continues getting more and more attention, then I think it's a good sign for Michelle Yeoh's chances. You have to remember that Everything Everywhere All at Once was released a full year ago, but somehow they've managed to rekindle the interest in the movie so much that it's the front runner for Best Picture right now. And if you've seen my video on why The Fabelmans would win Best Picture instead of Everything Everywhere All at Once, that didn't age well, you know how much this turnaround goes against historical trends. So this brings me back to the question we're here to answer. Will Michelle Yeoh win the Oscar? You know what? I'm optimistic. I think she will. And I haven't really talked much about her performance itself. I covered that in a different video on why it's time to give Michelle Yeoh the Oscar. I'll put the link in the description. For me though, it just really feels like this is the moment for her to win the Oscar. And so on March 12th, I'm gonna be glued to my couch, popcorn in hand, waiting for her to triumphantly raise up her golden statue. And I look forward to celebrating with all of you in the comments section below. So mark your calendars. And subscribe to this channel if you want to help Michelle Yeoh win the Oscar. It'll help, I swear.
I think if I speak, my heart will explode. SAG-AFTRA, to get this from you, who understands what it is, to get here, every one of you know the journey, the roller coaster ride, the ups and downs. But most important, we never give up.